Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome to the Nutmeg Assist, and today we have like a special guest with us. We have Mehul over here, who is the founder of Born to Play from Delhi, and this company is actually doing really good stuff in the sports and sports area in Delhi, and they have been organizing leagues in different sports, whether it's tennis, whether it's football, and a lot of other sports, and doing a lot of good at the grassroots level, and in order to like get the sports up and running. So, hi Mehul. Hope you're doing good in these lockdown times.
Thanks a lot, Ishan, for having me here today. Yeah, lockdown has been intense and boring and challenging.
Yeah,
So it's all going on, man.
good to know that. Good to know that. And sorry, but I just totally forgot. I have to introduce Shankar as well. So I hope Shankar, you're doing good as well. He's joining us all the way from Australia right now.
Yeah, it's about 11:15 in the night. So slowly starting to get a bit sleepy, but otherwise I'm good. Yeah.
All right, so let's just kick this thing off. So I mean, Mehul, we all know like what you have been doing from like from in the very grassroots level for like different sports. So, like, just tell us like what was your concept, what was the inspiration for you when you wanted to like start something like this, when you wanted to start Born to Play.
So Ishan, the problem was very simple. We had passed out of college and we wanted to play some competitive, football or badminton. So, my partner Animesh, since he's from, racket sports background, so we thought कि, there are hardly any opportunities for people of our age group who have just passed out of college, who have started working, or even the senior guys. They hardly have any platform to compete with their peers or people of their own category, or I would say. So that was the simple problem which we wanted to solve. So we started with a badminton tournament in a society in UP. I would say Ghaziabad, where we did our first test, and we got a very good turnout there. And then we actually thought, okay, there is some business sense in this, where we actually provide the right experience to the players, right? Just like any state championship or national championship, with the top level referees, with the best venue, with the top of the line equipment, and people are willing to pay for that experience and test them out. So that was the very simple problem which we wanted to solve. We started with badminton, and slowly moved to different sports like table tennis, lawn tennis. We started conducting events almost every weekend, right? A different sport every weekend and a different location. So that was the whole concept. And then we moved to football with six-a-side initially, and then 11-a-side with the amateur.
Okay, so Mehul, I just want to like get an idea, like when you were like shifting out from like say badminton to like different sports, and I'm sure like you would have to like get like engage with a lot of authorities and like engage with a lot of people like at the government level as well, and just even in like general with people and trying to like get them on board as whether but just to play and come and compete. So how was it like one when you were just starting out like as a startup and just making people believe in what you actually wanted to achieve?
Mhm. So of course, initially it was tough, right? We had people who would since there is an entry fee involved. People have to be comfortable with paying that and getting the services that we are offering. So initially it was tough, but with the right alliances, like with the clubs, so we got support. Especially in football, I would talk. We got a good response from the Delhi ISL team at that time, right? So they were on board. Then we had good connects with the people playing at AstroTurfs here, and then we reached out to some academies who initially thought that the pricing is too much, but when we told them the whole structure, So they were willing to come on board. So initially, of course, we started small. We started with 8 teams in the first season, and then we gradually grew. So this is what I'm telling you with respect to football. Whereas with respect to other sports, we took the route of the coaches, right? Where kids were already training, and through them we landed, kids playing in their respective categories. Apart from that, for the seniors, it was purely initially, uh, it was through the coaches only, and then gradually it was word of mouth.
Yeah, so that's really nice, man, Mehul. Uh, just to touch upon those aspects, like you mentioned, different age groups and target audiences that you provide your services to. So, uh, could you give us an idea of what your league structure looks like? Maybe let's just stick to football,
Mhm.
and then if you want to brief about um, the other sports, if there's a big structure involved, maybe that as well. So, but
So with
let's keep it
respect
to football
to
initially.
so with respect to football, with the amateur league, we have this is open age, right? We allow anyone and everyone above 14 years of age, right? So that is with the amateur league. Apart from that, we have some corporate football tournaments as well, where we restrict only the corporate audience to participate, so that the level is as per them, right? Apart from that, in the future, we are now focusing on the kids as well, because we've recently opened our academy here in Gurgaon, where we have a proper 11-a-side facility. So since we have a facility, we have approached the AIFF to conduct the baby leagues, right? Because we want to join hands with the association and the federation, because that is the best way to take it forward. And to my surprise, I got a very, very good response from AIFF with respect to baby leagues and futsal, right? I had a conversation recently where they are welcoming the private organizers to join hands with the state association and the federation indirectly, right? And conduct these baby leagues and futsal tournaments in association with the associations, the state
Mm.
associations.
So could you give us a brief of what your league looks like, what the format is, how it's
So with
structured?
respect to, are you asking with
Football,
respect to
football.
TAL?
Sorry, what
Are
was
you
that?
asking with respect to the amateur league?
Yes.
Yeah, so the amateur league is a full league concept, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we host the league over a period of time. Every Sunday we hold matches. So I'll give you an example of our last season, where we had 20 teams playing, and Ishan's team was one of them, right? So we had two conferences, one in Delhi, one in Gurgaon, 10 teams each. Every team used to play one match of 60 minutes every weekend, which we used to record and publish the highlights and other related content throughout the week. So that used to continue for till all the teams have played all the other teams. And with this season, since we had multiple conferences, we also had a shield and a cup after the league matches, where the top two teams from both the conferences played for the Tal Cup, and the next two teams played for the Tal Shield. So that's the structure of our league.
Okay, just to touch upon that as well. So you said top two teams, right? So um, is it's basically following the US, the basketball conference, US sports conference format, is it? Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
yeah.
And do they so top two teams from one league plays the top two of the other, and then do they play for the same? I didn't
Yeah,
get
so
that part.
basically, if I say Delhi top team plays the second team of Gurgaon, and the second
Okay,
team of Gurgaon plays the top team of Delhi. So that's kind of
okay,
a Tal Cup semi-final, and the winners of both they play the final.
okay. Great, great. That's a good format to follow. That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have experimented with different formats over the years. right? Depending on the number of teams. So suppose the number of teams are more or less. So even we even did once home and away concept. So we have tried different formats over the years to give the maximum value to our players who are participating.
Right. So you have 10 teams each in both
Yeah.
the. Yeah, cool. Okay,
So the
that's
league
20 teams.
went on
That's a
for
good
close to three and
exposure
a half to
for a
four
lot of
months.
teams. A good set of 20 is a pretty good number for all the community teams. Actually, it's
Yeah.
good.
So,
Yeah.
so maybe touching upon the baby leagues which you were talking about. So, I mean, how are you planning to actually execute them, and more so, what's your vision with them essentially?
So see, we want to give an all-round, or we want to be involved in the all-round development, right, of football. So since we already have an amateur league there for the elder guys, and with but the actual need is there at the grassroots, right? So since the idea is to have an academy function, as well as keep having these tournaments for for kids. So that's the idea. And since this is AIFF's initiative of baby leagues, which is popular all across the world, and in India, there is a huge need for this because kids need to play a minimum number of matches throughout the year if they are practicing, right? Else, their practice does not get them anywhere. So you need to have regular competitive exposure as you are growing and learning. So that is the idea, that we want to provide maximum competitive exposure to kids of all age groups. So we are starting with Haryana, since we have the facility there. So we are currently in talks with the state association to partner with us and allow us to conduct the baby league all over Haryana. We'll be starting with Gurgaon for this year and then taking it forward from next year onwards. So that is the idea with the baby leagues.
Okay, so we're just trying to understand the whole thing. So, how do you think, these baby leagues will actually help a player? Say, say, I have a younger brother who's say 14 years old or 13 years old probably, and he's playing in the baby league in Gurgaon. So, how do you think, he has to make that step up into say the league structure of India, whether it's the ISL or the I League. What would you propose? How can the baby league, which you guys are providing in Gurgaon, be a pathway for them, as a stepping stone for a better, you know, club football or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. As I said before, when you are training somewhere at an academy, you need to constantly, play competitive matches, right? Which Baby League is a great platform, right? From because you can field n number of teams there, right? One academy can field n number of teams to test their squads and test their players, give them
Correct.
enough opportunity to prove themselves, and then again. So the structure for playing the junior I league is completely different, right? The club needs to be associated with the state and the AIFF
Yes, sir.
to play the zones I league, right? So that there are different regions where the teams, they play in a league format, and then there's a qualifier. The top teams play the All India, right? So that is how it is. So the baby leagues are just a platform to give competitive exposure to everyone who is training, right? And from there, we can easily, or the clubs can easily assess who is great for them, where they are lacking, how can they improve, and then the main team can be selected on the basis of that. So this point, is very important here, that we always focus on the top tier, right? So in India, ISL is the top tier right now,
Yeah.
but there's a huge gap between the grassroots and there. That
Yes.
is why the
Yes.
following is very less. So the idea is to bridge that gap, get more and more people involved, because see, a kid who's playing a baby league is, you know, is, I would say, he's connected to football more, I would say.
Yes.
And then he might start supporting a club here in Delhi, because in the long run all the top tier competitions can only sustain if they have a good strong loyal fan base. So all this is part of that. You have to get more and more people introduced to the game, get them to training, then get them to participate in competitions,
And
and
even
from
like for
there
the,
only.
and as you said, like for the fans to like come over and watch the match, and you like, be part of the whole club culture and the fan culture. I think that is
Yeah,
very important, like for
yeah,
like I'll say the footballing ecosystem in India to actually grow and sustain itself.
exactly. So you need to connect as many people as possible, right? The baby leagues, I would say, an idea which I had was that the club who was there, like Delhi Dynamos was there, they should be partnering with local baby leagues, or to engage with the kids, so that they get to know them, and they go and watch their matches, tell their parents, hey, this club is doing something for us.
Yeah.
So that is
Plus,
the whole thing that is required, I feel. uh,
yeah. Plus, I think if like ISL clubs do something like this, I mean, small academies, like say for example, your baby league can like be just like a feeder club, or like a good scouting network for them in order to like get the talent as young as possible and get them playing for them as well. So I think that kind of a structure would really help the whole football scenario in India.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, to add on to that, Mehul, you did mention about providing more opportunities for clubs. So I just wanted to ask if you guys have plans to expand the league, or uh, league to different locations, or maybe more number of teams, so that there's more opportunities for all age groups, not just the kids. I know we're
Yeah.
trying to bridge the gap between grassroots and the professional leagues, but yeah, now at this point in time, you did mention that there is 20, which is a great number in itself, but for a country like India, where we have 1.4 billion people, so uh, in other countries, 20 is a very, very good number to have in such leagues. But uh, do you guys have plans to
Yeah.
increase that number, or to go to more locations?
So we are already doing the league. We started off to start by a friend of mine. The amateur league was started by a friend in Karnataka first, where it's going really really strong. We have close to 48 teams playing in one season, right? So then Delhi was started around 1 or 2 years back, like 1 or 2 years after it was started in Bangalore. And now we are exploring Bombay as another city. Plus, in Delhi NCR itself, we want to start with a third division, that is the Noida one. Delhi has Delhi is huge, right? Delhi NCR is huge. So we already have a Delhi division, then we have a Gurgaon one, and the Noida one makes the most sense with respect to Delhi NCR. And recently, in July 2019, we also visited, the tri-city, that is Chandigarh, Ambala, and which is the third one, Panchkula, right? To test the market there, go check out the fields, check with the players. We checked a lot of grounds where people were playing, did our groundwork. So we are
Mhm.
exploring more more regions definitely. But the next one on the card is Bombay right now,
Okay,
and
so yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So Bombay is next on the cards, but we are always exploring different territories, because yeah.
Yeah, so when eventually we get to a stage where we have a lot of clubs and participating opportunities, so, and with your connections with the AIFF and all the other local state governing bodies, would you then have plans to increase the number of invite scouts from these professional leagues or a club football, club academy, you could say, where they can come to your league and scout for players and maybe take a young 17, 18-year-old into the academy and try to develop them? Would that be something that you guys would?
Yeah, we have actually already explored that option before, right? But if you see the top level clubs, they want younger kids, right? So they are not willing to sign 16, 17-year-olds right off the top. But of course, with the with the association that we have with different clubs, we inform our players to go and give the trials, right? But for the
Mm.
state leagues, yeah, of course, many people come. They want to scout players from our league. So that is already happening in both Bangalore and Delhi NCR.
Great, great. Because ultimately, with leagues like yours and maybe other leagues that are similar, our aim should be to uh, come together to give that opportunity and bring those
Yeah.
young talent, and obviously, for the betterment of Indian football
So
eventually.
recently in Bangalore, so we have very good connection with the Karnataka State Football Association, right?
Hmm.
So we work with them as well with their match recordings and match highlights of their state, competitions. So since we've been working with them for a long time now, the amateur league has formed a football club of its own, right,
Ah,
in Bangalore, which is getting a direct entry to the C division of Karnataka State League
that's
as
really
well.
That's
good.
brilliant.
So that is
That's
a good
brilliant. Yeah.
platform or a good bridge between our league and the state league. So people who are playing, they get a chance to play semi at a semi-pro level as well.